Thoth intelligence has been speaking to me about water for a long time, and I'm sure your intelligence speaks to you about water as well, because it is such an important experience in our life. I say experience because obviously we have to have water to stay alive, but water speaks to us. It's an intelligence, and I'm sure all of you listening to this already know that. However, at this time on the planet, we have not only an acceleration of the normal pollution, that is the regular kind, but the irregular kind, and that is man-made deliberately, such as 5G, chemtrails, and more exotic things that have come upon us in the last 3 years. Not only the infection, but the so-called solution for that. All of these things have added to the pollution of the human being and the planet. Yet we are not without assistance, and I've said that many times. And one of the things that I've been receiving is how important water is in this particular. It is very important to have filtered water, the best you can afford, and other things such as, there's 90-10 technology that purifies water in a quantum field, but that's very expensive, and you have to get the cubes for that. They no longer have their water bottles. Then there's the terahertz frequency, which I'm using on my water, in addition to the 90-10, and you can place that into water through these iTerracare wands. There's different ways, different things you can explore to not only purify your water, but go further than that. And right now, it's required that we go further. Purification alone just isn't enough. However, once you have the baseline established, purifying the water and increasing the healing powers and the potential of water to balance the system, then there is the most important step. You have to have the other first, but then increasing the intelligence of the water, because it's been dumbed down. Water is incredibly intelligent, I know, but it's been dumbed down, and that is through many ways that have depleted the frequency in the planet and in water. However, let's take a look at the interior of Earth, the interior of this planet. Now, according to my sources, and I've been working with this particular science since the early 1980s. In fact, I think it was 1980 itself that Thoth introduced it to me. There is the hollow Earth. And I won't go into all the science of it, but believe me, I have the science. But there is a hollow in the Earth. There's a hollow in all viable planets. Viable, we won't go into what that really means either, but Earth is viable. And so it's naturally created. When a planet spins, its magnetofield creates a slightly removed dimension, slightly, in the field, and in that removed dimension there is a hollowing effect, so you have a reversal of the planet spectrum of life. And as this reversal takes place, the interior is formed. It's necessary to have that interior for the magnetofield, for the full properties of it. It's not like it's created so that people can live in it. It's created for this particular purpose of viability of the entire planet. Then there's a whole story why there are people living in it and all of that, which I won't go into here because we're discussing water. But let's look at the hollow Earth as a place that is still pure. It's holding its own. It's not easy, but it is holding its own. It has been geoengineered through spiritual beings to be able to have life inside it more than just creepy crawlies, but true, human beings and star kindred and beautiful flora and fauna, intelligent life. And it has water. It has salt water in the seas, and it has pure water, drinkable water, lots of it. And this water is far beyond anything we can imagine on the surface, or ever was on the surface, even when it was very, very pure. Just to tap in to the science, because it's vast and I can't get into all of it, but because we have a central sun atoma that's composed differently from our sun in the star suns in the universe that we have, our solar sun, it is composed differently. This atoma sun generates a frequency that is what Thoth is calling pura forma. He's saying to me that this is a formational pattern that keeps the energy of life and the energy of water in life in a particular zone that repeats itself, repurifies itself constantly. So it's not only water that does it, but anything that's affected with this atomic frequency, call it atomic in this sense. Now, that doesn't mean that all plants and animals and people live forever. They don't. But they continually repeat the base frequency of life. They go back to the beginning in that sense. Now they're still growing and evolving, and that therefore eventually aging, and plants, change and die and grow back again, and so do people. Much longer, they live much longer, but they do. However, because they're always going back to this pure forma state in logica, in understanding the logic imprint of it, saying this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who you are. It brings it back again and again. This creates a much more potent, viable experience of life, and longer lived. So in the water, that signature is present. So drinking that water allows that pura forma to collect and to, respond more dynamically. As we know, all living beings are composed of mostly water, and that's true in the inner earth as well. And there's another unique thing, there are many unique things, but another one in regard to the interior of the earth, the hollow earth, is that there are elements there that we don't have on the surface. And that means there are also minerals that we don't have on the surface. And these elements and minerals are to be found in the water. So I'm setting a stage here for these templates. Urasa, the wellspring of life, this water is specifically created in a frequency for our purpose here. And it's composed of the following things. Hollow earth spring water that comes from the interior, the inner earth, the hollow earth. And this contains, of course, these specific minerals, elements that are not found on the surface. Then there's the cave of Osimur, which has a specific water as well. It's not just the regular hollow earth spring water. This water from the cavern of Osimur in the inner earth is where the water from some of the very deep, deep aquifers of the surface earth come together with deep, deep water of the inner earth, and they have a frequency where they meet that is sort of magical. This is the best way that I can understand it from what Thoth is telling me. Anyway, it's really special water. So he's including that, or saying that's being included, this specific water. And there's a third, and this is not water from the hollow earth. He's calling this Strabian 777. And this is an elemental compound that is brought to us from the stars. It comes in various forms in various worlds. I was saying, well, does it come from the Blue Star Rigel? Does it come from the Pleiades? And he said it comes from all those places. And it's something that we don't have on this planet. But it is supplied to the people in the inner earth for certain purposes. And it's being given to us in these templates. So these three things combined, the two forms of inner earth water and then the Strabian 777 from the stars, is all combined frequency, as a frequency for us in this Urasa water, or Urasa water frequency rather. So now let us turn our attention to the templates themselves. As you probably know, I've given you templates before, the elixirs and other forms of frequencies that are beneficial. These are very different, but they still are basically operating in the same parameters. Instead of just giving you one template, Thoth wishes you to have quite a few. And all of these have the exact same frequency within it. And I'll tell you in a moment how I do this. I've said it before, but I want to make sure everyone listening to this understands it. But the frequency in it changes slightly with the images. In other words, I think there are 14 that are presented here. And so each one has the exact same numbers embedded in the prompt. But they are different because the image and the color and the presence in the field of sight creates a slightly different nuance for each one. And we'll address this more further, why that was given. But back to how they are created. I create my art, most of it, with the AI technology now. And when I'm doing this, I'm not only word crafting to get what I want, but I'm connecting to the stream, the Thothic intelligence stream, and it's helping to manipulate these images to where they are more accurate as to what I am attempting to express in the visionary form. But they're also more accurate in frequency. So they are created on a very base level by writing in a prompt. I want to see a tree with green leaves or whatever, you know. And in that prompt, Thoth has me place these numbers that are signals to the higher spectrum to activate through the random generator of the AI technology a frequency-based energy into that prompt. So that's how I embed these frequencies. Now let us address why Thoth gave so many of these templates, since they all have the same numbers, even though there's a slight difference in them. Why? This was so that you had a choice in feeling which one of these or more especially resonated with you. It's like when your body knows what foods you need to eat, if you really pay attention to it. Not what food you crave, but what food you really need to eat. You know, you have this frequency you can kind of get in touch with. It's the same thing with these. Which nuance is best for you? Also, you can simply use all of them. By that I mean, if you place them in different parts of your home, for instance, and or you could use one at a time and try this one out with, you know, for a period of time. You use this with charging your water with it, and another time using another one. There are different ways to work all of this, of course. But you have this choice now of all of these templates. In this video, as you watch these images, you're absorbing it right as you're watching it because it's activational. You can also take screenshots. Feel free to do so. Print them out, But I also have them on Redbubble in magnets and stickers. Now, stickers, of course, put them on things. But with the magnets create a stronger energy of it. So you might want to put one on your water bottle, or where the water you're purifying and charging, maybe one on the sticker on the pipes that run into the house. But you can also get the magnets and you could place a water bottle on top of the magnet, or I'm thinking really the stickers are best for the water bottles, but the magnets could go around the house. They could also go under your chair seat or under your pillow, and that would increase the frequency there. And if you choose to use the whole set, you could just put these little magnets all over the place in your house, and it would generate a frequency that's entering the field that you have water in. You have water running through your pipes, you have water under the ground, closely under the ground, for those who do. That would affect that. And of course you have the water in your body and in your pets' bodies and all of them. Now, these particular templates cannot affect deep underground water, but we're going to talk about that in a minute and what might be in the future to be able to do that. Right now, though, let's just focus on the templates. Well, as I'm speaking to you here, Thoth is also showing me a really important use for the magnet version. If you get the set of magnets, you can place them on your body for direct healing, like a session with them, for maybe 5-10 minutes. You're lying comfortably on the bed, couch, or whatever, and you're putting these magnets on different areas of your body that you feel need them. So that would be one way. Or you could put it like just above your head, resting on the pillow, and just below your feet, resting on the bed, and one in each hand, one in the solar plexus. And these could be all the different ones. You decide, this one feels like it needs to go here, this one here. There are ways to do this, and you could use them for direct healing purposes. I really wish to stress, though, that these templates do not mean that you don't need to purify your water. You need to purify your water, and also include any other kinds of energized formulas that you feel viable, like the terahertz frequency, or the 9010 technology. I'm just using those as an example. There are others. Do whatever you can to bolster your water. This is not in place of that. But then, once you have this power water, include the Urasa water frequencies. That is when it becomes truly effective and powerful. It has to have good water to start with, and then these elements from the interior of the earth and the way the water is structured in the interior of the earth can influence the surface water and the water you drink and the water in your body. I say influence. It's not going to be like drinking a cup of inner earth water. I wish. It's not going to be that potent, that life-changing, but it's going to make a difference. Now, I can't prove any of this. I can't even prove it to myself. I'm just telling you, this is what I'm getting. And you have to feel into it and see if it resonates with you. Let us begin with the templates. As you watch these images, just breathe them in and feel as if you're taking in the liquid energy of it, like you do with the elixirs, only this time it is this pura forma water, the Urasa. In conclusion, I do wish to address the future possibilities, as I mentioned previously. Thoth is showing me how small pyramids could be created using much more powerful magnets and specific templates that would tap into groundwater, deep groundwater, like aquifers. Of course, these would have to be positioned over these aquifers or subterranean streams, whatever, that are deeper in the earth. The little Redbubble magnets are just for personal use, for home, for your own water in your house, your drinking water, putting it with a bottled water, that sort of thing. And of course, for healing, for personal healing of your water body. But groundwater on that level, the deeper groundwater, would have to be done with these pyramids. And the effect, while it's not going to change everything, the effect would be worth instigating this. At least this is what I received from Thoth. It would have to be planned, it would have to be done in a special way. There would have to be a network of these little pyramids, not just one. But I don't think there would need to be hundreds of them. They would just need to be positioned in the right way, depending upon how big an area of water you wish to affect. All these things are speculative. I just know that Thoth said it is doable and worth doing. Of course, the bigger the pyramid, the bigger the magnet, the more the template with the energy design would be activated. Such a project, of course, would need to be funded. I don't want to turn it into something super commercial, but people would need to be paid to create these things, and the labor and time and materials and all of that. That's the way the world works. And I'm certainly not going into the pyramid making business. I believe this would be done under my new nonprofit, New Earth Art Foundation. But again, there has to be a practical way to do it without making it some kind of big commercial enterprise. So I don't know if this will ever be accomplished, but I'm just sharing it here, because if you put things out like this that are worth accomplishing, doing, sometimes that helps to bring them into fruition. Returning to the templates you've seen here in this video, I would really be interested in hearing from anyone who embarks upon a real journey with them, maybe gets the whole set, works with them in different ways, or even if you just get one and you find that it really helps you or seems to in regard to charging water, that would be very valuable information for me. So if you'd like to contact me about that, please do. Thank you. Thank you for listening.